Good morning, good morning. It is good to be back. It'll probably be a short stream today. I'm still feeling poorly, so at any given time I may feel worse than I do at the moment. Before we get started, I do want to remind you that on my Twitch channel page, I do keep a resources section up. That is not only for my own reference, but for your guys's. It's meant to be just kind of a quick kind of uh, go-to list for those of you that are looking for particular resources, whether it be image, what do you call them, databases, or maybe it's general guides to certain things. I try to keep a running list of anything that's related to housing, and I've added a few over the last couple of weeks. So I thought I'd mention those in case you had missed that they are out there. Usually the way I get my information is either someone will tweet it or they'll be posting it in the forums. And I know there's a lot of players that don't regularly check those particular uh, information pools. So just a reminder that these resources are out there. So the first one is the Daywalker Customs link. That is from Cheslia, I think is how you say her name, on the forums. Basically, she runs a commission type of business of sorts on NA side. I don't know if you can arrange, I mean, with the sets manager being able to import, export set codes, probably depending on how elaborate the set is, how many pieces it includes, you may or may not be able to work out a deal with her on the other side, the other region. How you could pay her, I'm not sure. I think she takes plat, in-game gold, plat rewards for her work. But there might be some way that you could work out a deal if you're on EU region and you're interested in some of her designs from NA. But if you are on NA side, definitely check out her website. It's called Daywalker Customs. She has a whole listing of a lot of the different buildings that she's made, anywhere from small cottages to elaborate mansions. I'm not sure if she does them by I assume it's by special request. I don't know if she just builds it and then says it's up for grabs, or if she actually takes specific requests. Um, and I think there's a post that she made detailing how she prices things. So, if you're interested in getting a commission work, be it you don't feel like you have the talent to put something together, or you don't have the time, um, definitely reach out to her. I know there are other builders that work similarly, but I'm unaware of any that I've actually set out any kind of a website like this. Hers is nicely organized, it's easy to navigate, and she gives plenty of screenshots, and you get a little bit of background of maybe about why she was inspired to build a certain thing, because I think she's got one that's based on like the Addams Family mansion and that kind of stuff. So if that kind of thing interests you, even if it's you don't plan on buying anything, it's great to take a look at some of her stuff. In fact, I'm sure we'll be perusing some of her things um, uh, during our tours on NA. Is the sound cutting out? And good morning, Poi. I hope not. If that's the case, that's really bad because I wouldn't know how to fix it. Fingers crossed that it's not that big a deal. If it is, I have absolutely no idea what to do on that. Anyway, morning, Bones. Is the sound cutting out for you too? Maybe it's just me. Am I just kind of talking low and then up and low and up? I have no idea. The other one, the second link that I want to mention is Flo's Sky Remodel Previews. Um, we have the actual in-game previews, like if you want to do the Sky remodels, you can preview some of them in-game, but not all of them. I think it's especially the ones that are available from the cash shop that become problematic as far as trying to preview. Usually it takes someone being brave enough to buy it and then putting it on their plot and then letting others check it out. So Flow has actually taken it upon themselves to set up a little Google Docs spreadsheet um, listing out the sky remodels for the house plots. You can I think they've got it divided between just those that are available on the housing vendor directly, and then those that are cash shop or like uh, event related, that kind of thing. I'm not sure how they got it divided specifically, but I think it's something like that. So there's like two tabs that you can access from the link, and they have screenshot previews, and they don't just give one single, because some of the skies they look different depending on what direction you're looking. So they make sure to list them out. Um, um, they list them out so that you can kind of see not a panoramic, but you can see different uh, what do you call it? Vantage points of the skies. So it's a really helpful resource. I think a lot of people will enjoy. We used to have something similar. Well, it's still there technically on Living in WildStar website, but because they haven't updated in ages, there's a lot of missing information there. So, well, maybe it's just you, Poi. Maybe you need to do a quick reload or something. Maybe that'll fix it. Twitch is so sketchy sometimes. I'm gonna blame Twitch. Um, but anyway, they posted a thread in the forums. That's how I spotted it, and I've just linked it over into the resources section. So, if you want to bookmark it, that's probably a good idea. Um, I also put up a link to one of the guilds for Jabbit. They're called Sunny Disposition. Now, normally I'm not keen on doing any kind of guild promotion per se, but this one has really kind of become at the forefront for those that are looking for a guild that's very housing oriented. We've had people in the past ask, are there any housing guilds? And up to this point, there really, as far as I could tell, there really weren't any. Most of them just kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything. Housing was just kind of a side thing. But this guild in particular is apparently very social oriented. Um, and so they have strong leanings to role play, which the nature of housing um, really lends itself as a key element to our role-playing community. So they're all very closely tied in together. So I've heard comments from some of their members saying that it's, if you're interested in housing, they're very good about promoting each other's homes. I think they do their own little kind of like tour thing, and of course, it's their builds play heavily into the role playing aspects and stories and things. So I thought it would be only fair if someone is on Jabbit and is looking for a housing oriented guild. It's not that they're completely just all about housing, but they do promote it pretty heavily as part of their overall community, little mini community. I just wanted to give them a nod by providing a link to their recruitment page. I myself do not belong to the guild. I left my last guild a few months ago, and I don't plan on really joining any others. I find I'm perfectly functional and happy without it. So, but if you're looking for an extra avenue of communication with those that share your interests, including possibly the role playing part of it, sunny disposition may be what you're looking for. Um, let's see. To that end, there are the circles that we have, housing circles. I do belong to a couple of those. Um, it's kind of questionable as far as getting into them because I don't know specifically who the leaders of these circles are. I want to say just about anybody can invite you. So the best way if you want to try and join a housing circle, and I would imagine it's the same way on NA, just kind of give a shout out in the housing zone chat. And if someone happens to be around and is able to invite, they'll do that, or they might give you information as to who to contact. Um, I know there's been a kind of a outpouring request for Carbine to increase the circles and maybe even the guild member cap limits. I think the guild currently is capped at 500, I want to say, but the circles are stuck at 100. I'm not even sure if there's a cap for neighbors. I assume so, but I don't use neighbors, so in the overall sense. But with the cross faction housing now, it's become more problematic across more groups that they're running out of space, and setting up a second or an alternate circle isn't always the best solution because the two circles can't openly chat with each other. The way Jabbit circles have done it is they have the two different circles, but they also have a custom chat channel where the two circles can communicate across the two groups. But it seems like an unnecessary extra step. If they just increase or provide a little bit more wiggle room as far as member allotments for the circles, I think that would prove better for most involved. So if you agree, I would say, check out some of those threads that are discussing that particular thing or that are suggesting it, or, just open up a new thread and resuggest it if you can't find it, and let them know that that's something that we would like to have. So I haven't been in the game pretty much for like a week now. I've only come in sporadically, and usually it's just for a couple of minutes just to check mail, see if anyone's trying to get a hold of me. Um, so things are pretty much as we left it the last time we kind of messed around. For those of you that were with us last week for the tours, you'll know that I didn't even make it on Wednesday. I ended up having to postpone it until Thursday. Um, I don't know how it's going to go this week. I'm just handling it on a day-to-day basis, depending on how I'm feeling and what's actually going on. If I feel like I can survive a small bit of a stream, I will do it. But the tours are a little bit more involved because usually they last a little longer. So it may come that I have to reschedule again this week. Just if you really want to stay on top of it, if I'm going to cancel, I'll put out a tweet stating as such. I try to do it as soon as I'm confident that's what's going to happen, so that people aren't found themselves waiting around wondering if I'm going to be on or not. But sometimes, like I said, I just don't know until the morning of, and so yeah, it's just a fortunate thing, and it's going to go on for the next couple of weeks. Again, I'm not scheduled to visit the specialists at the clinic until the end of the month, and I think that's just going to be a kind of a consultation type of thing. They're not actually going to do anything. They're just going to like say, so what's the problem? And we'll give them the rundown of what all we've done with our personal physician, and then they'll probably schedule up an actual day for me to go in for testing and stuff. So right now at the moment, I've just been continuing with the pain in the ear and jaw and um, lots and lots of the dizzy. Usually it only occurs at night, but I still have a few spells through the day depending on what I'm doing. So yeah, it's very annoying. I think the pain and stuff is the most troublesome because it comes out of the blue and it hangs around for a while. And it's very distracting when it happens. I have a hard time concentrating. I'll like start spacing out, and my husband's like, "What's wrong with you?" And it goes, "You having another episode?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And the pain medications, I have been just taking some regular over-the-counter stuff, and then the doc prescribed something stronger, but that has side effects of its own, which I apparently suffer from. So my dizziness and stuff just quadrupled or whatever on the medication. So I'm just having to suffer through the pain because I don't want to be all whacked out with that stuff. It's just worse for me. So yeah, it's a fun time. It's been a great, great start to the year. I'm hoping that it'll get sorted out at the end of the month or sometime thereafter and figure out. What my doctor suspects is that due to the deep infection that I had and for the amount of time that I had it, she suspects there's some nerve damage, and that's what's causing the continued pain and trouble with the dizziness and stuff. So hopefully that's not the case, but we'll find out, I guess. Okay, so we're back at the book house. I really have no plan as to what we're going to work on, but I'll try and come up with a few things. I don't know if I did this off screen or on screen, but I added some heart decals to the flower bed, that the little tray on the window. Again, this is supposed to be for next month's challenge for like a little romantic kind of thing. So I've been throwing hearts here and there. In fact, I think what we'll probably do, let me grab that one. So like I've been looking at where I could throw in some heart designs here and there to kind of, again, make it all lovey-dovey looking. And let's think I have, now let's call this heart yellow. Directory first, and then add link set, and then we'll just is the sound working better for you now, Poi? I'm just going to drag this over. First, I'm going to try and kind of eyeball about the center of this. And we'll right here. Now, I used yellow. It doesn't really show up as well as I'd hoped, but I still wanted to use the contrasting colors against the wood. You will note that some of it sticks out the back. If that bothers you, I would say probably just kind of maybe double this up, and then you can cover it that way. So thickens it up a little bit, but it just covers up that back part if you kind of are disturbed by how that might appear from this direction. That's good. That's good. We already have the long uh, flower tray thingy. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know how much of this I've got linked together. let's see, let's call this flower tray long. Now I didn't add the flowers in because I'm just going to do those by eye anyway. But I'm hoping I copy the whole group and then just kind of make a shorter version for these. I wasn't sure, let's see, since I have the futon in front of this, I might not have noticed that it actually sticks out there, but it seems to be okay. I'm talking about the Draken walls. So I kind of push them in quite a bit. It's nice that the books have a thickness to them, so um, you can kind of hide a few things inside there. But I need to break this off a little bit. I don't want this whole double here, so I'm going to break this off. Where it might get a little tricky. And now we have a little mini flower tray. There we go. So now I'll save this as the, well, let's just put some flowers in. How many? Actually, probably 2 or 3 at the most. Probably get 3. So then I'll just link those 3 in. Thanks for the reminder about the CBDC. I will say we have had a few entries so far. In fact, I think Aurora was saying that she's got 3 entries set up for that. I just haven't actually went to check and see which one she's got. I think it's on Zafira. And then we have one from Leigh Reynolds, and then one from NA Side from Blades. We already know that Poi's not going to be entering. In fact, when is your husband supposed to go in for surgery? Okay, so I've got this whole set ready. So I'm going to add a new one, say flower tray short link set. And I'm probably going to regret doing that because I needed to move the heart there, didn't I? So let's just clear that. And if you wonder how I did that, to get, you just know you want to completely create the whole set, just click the parent of the set, hold your shift key down, and then hit create, and it'll get rid of the whole set group together. But I need to move this over. So I'll link this one. The small little thing. This Thursday, oh my. Well, I hope it goes well. We'll be thinking of you. Okay, so let me think. There we go. Now we have two small ones on the side and then the big one on the front. And with the big one on the front, let's move these. That going on with the small one. I'll go ahead and add in the flowers too. Get them all. How many's in here? Like quite a few. Notice there's the books on the bottom. That's as we discussed last time, those really aren't necessary. What I'll do is three, just get rid of the. Now, if you wanted it to be like a partial and don't have any dirt and flowers, then you'd of course want to leave the bottom, but not really. All right. Well, thanks for letting me know. We'll be thinking of you and him, of course. I know what it's like to go in for surgery, and even if it's a routine kind of thing, just always those worries in the back of your mind. Just try not to let it get. Okay, so I'm going to take one of the small ones and turn it around. Now this one actually you might want to put the bottoms in because see, the higher it is, the more possible it is that someone's going to see the bits that aren't finished. So I'm just going to go ahead and replicate. To make a square line. I didn't have any breakfast yet because I was still feeling a little puny. But I imagine I'm going to have to remedy that very. Trying to decide how I want to do this. Edge. Now this one here, I think it's not going to be big enough for the wide one here, but we'll try it. So we have the long one. Do a place all and link of it. Again, I'm probably going to wish I had left, got to add the flowers in. Now, if you want to change the flowers from each box, if you don't want to use the same ones, that's fine. But I think it looks a little better if they're all the same for me. Let's That works out pretty good. It's almost like I planned it that way. Okay, so we'll do the same thing for this one. Kind of fill in the bottom just so, I think most people probably wouldn't bother looking under there, but for me, when I do, when I visit other people's homes, I'm always moving my camera around, checking things out from all angles. So I'm liable to spot it on theirs. And I figure, well, if I can spot it on theirs, they're probably going to spot it on mine. So I try to keep that to a minimum. It's marking. Ugh. Okay, so now we have the flowers. We've got the mailbox. If you want to put some actual mail in there, you can. It's not really necessary, but like if you want to, usually the typical ones that I do is I love the um, note in a bottle. Um, I also use the cardboard boxes sometimes for like a package kind of thing. And I've used the open book to look like stamped letters. Now, because of the color of this, since I used yellow, no worries, boy. I'm just happy you can join us, even if you can't hear everything. But what I was going to say is, I probably wouldn't use the cardboard boxes in this instance because they're pretty similar in color, I think. All right, Poi. That's fine. We'll see you later. In case you don't hear it, I'll wave. I'll wave to you. So I'd probably just use the note in a bottle for this one. But basically, you want to typically you place it and then you make it look like it's like little scrolls or something that have arrived in the mail. Now, because of the way I put this in, you'll probably get to see the bottle itself. So it might not be exactly like you want. Usually, when I build up a custom mailbox like this, there's a bit of like a black space so that you don't see the bottle itself. So I'm going to probably just crowd in about 3 scrolls and then that'll be fine. A little bit. Now I know they're kind of overlapping and everything, but you want it to look a little packed, that kind of thing. You could also do the little flag thing, um, Chua pillows, the fireworks, dynamite stick kind of thing could work. If you don't want to do that, you could just use another pillar. Take that down. Um, I don't know if that's a common thing on everybody's type of mailboxes, but it's kind of like an old deal where the um, the postman, you would like, I think it's you raise up the flag to let the postman know that there's mail to pick up. I think that's what it's supposed to be. A lot of mailboxes these days, they have it, but it's not like functional. Um, do it like that, and then maybe put another book as the flag to stick with the book theme, and say that there's mail to pick up, and then in theory the postman would come and push the flag down to let you know he picked it up. Something like that. Um, let's see, what else could we do to the outside? If you don't want to do the flower trays, you could just set out a little portion of your, like if you're going to have all grass like this, and then maybe do like a little flower bed area right here in this little pocket. That would be easy to set up. Again, you would probably use something to represent dirt. If you don't want to go with the Draken walls, you can go with other things that are similarly colored. The reason I like the Draken ones is it's got that marbly effect. Plus, if you're doing some kind of a flower bed, it does come with a little bit of a trim on the edge that you can use. Um, so like, you could set it up like this if you want to keep it nice and square. And then just have the walls go this way. So you get this nice little framing going on. And you won't have to worry about any kind of lines showing up here because, obviously you're going to put in your plants and stuff. And now you have this nice little flower bed area. Now, because I've got the trays, I'll probably just keep the trays, but I'm showing you as an example. And then you could just put your arrangement. Now, typically, I think the way the flower beds go is you put the taller things in the back, and then so you would have taller stuff here, and then as you come out to the edges, it becomes the smaller, the shorter bits. That's just so, like maybe you'd have one tall bush here, and then uh, maybe some hedges or something just under the window. And then in the front, you would have more of your shorter flowers and kind of things like that. Um, if you already have the flower bed here and say maybe we want a little patch here, we could just and repeat this over there on that side. Um, you could add a sidewalk of some sorts. You could do, there's the makeshift bulletin board is real good. The only thing is it does cost quite a bit of renown, 2,500 per. So depending on how, the size of stones that you want, how big, long you want the path, that could determine just how expensive it is. But as an idea of what it looks like, a lot of us use this one on some kind of a little stone path leading up to the porch. We would just take this, repeat it, rotate it around, that kind of thing. There's some of the posts have stones if you want a darker color. Yeah, this one, the fence post Draken. Want darker stones? Might better match the darker color of the books. You can see you only get a few stones with this one, so you might actually have to use more pieces depending on how you set up your path. Um, But that one at least is just the cost of silver rather than the renown, which might be more likely for people to have on hand the money rather than the renown. You can do simple, just individual stones. I'm trying to think. There's I think it's the Draken fireplace that some of them like. The fireplace or oh, I'm trying to think of the name. There's the one that's got the really tall uh, smokestack thing. Um, I think a lot of people use that for pathing as well. I don't know if the sound effect is muted if it goes into the ground or not. Another one is the Draken walls, or the fences, I should say. Uh, these here. These also are a favorite if you just turn them upside down. They don't look like stones per se, but it does have an interesting design. Very easily set up a little path. Again, it's a nice match of the coloring. And they do come in the straight ones like this, or you can get the curved ones like so if you want to add a little curving into your path, zigzag it around or through some different kinds of elements on your little scene here. Don't like the size of it. Yep, obviously pretty straightforward, like so. You know, it's not going to be uniform in size. This looks a little bit more narrow than it does on this end. So if you try to match up two pieces, you might have trouble with that. But still a pretty interesting way of doing a path. Another good one is the hover part pieces. Usually it's either the full or the half straight slash curved pipes. I've seen a lot of people use that. I've used that myself as pathing. It's nice and neat. And that one, the edgings are uniform. So if you have a curved part coming up in alignment with the straight part, you'll be confident that the width will be the same, as opposed to this where you might have a little trouble meeting that up. Um, Other bits, you could just use straight up floor piece for like little paved squares. You can I could probably just use the books if I want to just make some weird little stone shaped or heart shaped stepping stone kind of things. Do it like that if you want. Now for later, when we offer these up, these little shell houses up later next month. Again, I'm going to leave it up to you guys how you decorate the interior and the exterior, but it'll include any landscaping that you do. So things that you might consider and be thinking about for those of you that are watching and have a little bit of a heads up about what's coming up next month. Things that you could consider as fountains. You could put a fountain out here. Maybe you want to make it more like a family kind of thing, have a little playground area for the kiddies, gazebos, just, you know, and rather than using the garden fab kit or the flower garden fab kit, maybe design your own. You could use those as a basis for an idea and then just kind of, you know, make your own bench, your own path, your own groupings of flowers, that kind of thing. Um, I think we're going to pretty much make it a rule that you can't alter the shape of the house, but you could add on some extensions. Now, I'm not saying that you would be able to break out part of the wall and add a new door or something, But like say you make a little path around to the side and decide to put up some kind of a terrace back here. That's permissible. That would be permissible, I think, as long as you don't actually distort anything that's already given you. Anything will go. So um, let's see what else. Wishing well. You know, we have the wishing well fab kit, but if you want to design your own, we've seen several folks' examples of that. Anything, you know, cute and cozy that you would imagine. If you want to go with the white picket fence kind of deal, I think we've got some of those. Me, I would just use the crafted version, but if you have uh, the money for it and feel like spending on it, then you can, of course, go for the much straighter version of the fences by getting the spring decor pack. It'll come with a lot of other extras, but you'll get quite a bit of fencing pieces. Um, about the only way you might could get a kind of a straight edge is if you, for the crafted version, is if you invert it upside down like so, and then just kind of do it like that. That'll get you a straight, sort of straight edge. It's still a little off, but less so than if you leave it this way. So it's pretty jagged. Of course, how it looks will depend on, you know, maybe if you want it. So, then you got to decide, do you overlap that one bit so it looks, you still have that little strip in the back, that kind of thing. If you leave it upright, over here, you could, again, you have the issue of how the overlap is going to work. Now notice I'm having to move this a little bit to get these end pieces to line up. That means your fencing will be a little, it'll gradually skew out depending on how long you make it. I had that problem when I did the Pokemon house for Ash Ketchum residents. I didn't realize that was what was happening until I had already done it. I like moved out too, and then I just replicated out. And by the time I was done, the straight edging of the yard, you could see that the fencing kind of went out a little bit. So either line up your fence like you want and then slightly adjust the holes lineup of them that way, or get yourself one of like a straight edge and then line up fencing that way. You can see how this one's a little out past. If you don't like that, then you'll have to make the adjustment here, get it to line up a little bit better, and then copy it from there. It's the only two ways I know of to fix it. For me, I find it easier just to line it up like I want and then later adjust it. If you really don't have it up against anything perfectly straight, probably won't even notice it that it's a little out, but the longer the fence is, the more the gap will be at the end. Ugh, ears hurting again. Um, let's see, for the interior, I'm still considering what exactly I want to put in here. I know I'm pretending like this is the bed slash couch, so it's like a futon. In reality, you would unfold it out and then that would be what you sleep on. And I thought about putting like some kind of a television thing set up here. what exactly I was going to do with it, I have no idea. Probably using this as the main part, and then maybe using some framed glass as the screen for the television. Oops, that's an unframed. Doing it like this. It's just the book itself is more of a almost a rectangle shape, and the framed glass is obviously square. So you'll have a lot of extra space. So maybe have to find that right size, and then use this space for a button or something. I'm not sure really what I would do it. If Because if you try to put two pieces of glass together, there's going to be that line showing where they meet up. That's the only problem with the glass, especially since they have the frosted corners. That becomes kind of an issue. But do it like this, then maybe you could put a little scene in, do it like that. Um, or maybe just put a picture here and not have a little television thing. You know, not everybody has to have the video stuff. But that was my original idea. I was thinking of some kind of a big screen television type deal. Um, Another way you might be able to do it and get away with using a single piece for like a bigger is like if you do it like this, and then in a little bit. I don't know if this is gonna work like I'm envisioning in my brain, but yeah, I don't think it'll work right. I have a feeling it'll probably be sticking out the back. That might be the only way you can kind of get a sort of a rectangle feel is by faking it in that way. But let me see what that looks like. Oh, we're lucky. The thickness of the books really is a nice thing. There is, of course, this issue of it sticking out considerably from screen. You could fake that in by just thickening up uh, this part here from here to here. That might be okay. It might depend on what you decide to put as the image that's on the screen. But if you're going to leave it blank, probably additional books, I guess, or maybe even just tilt it out like this. Get it a little thicker. See how I did that? Just a little bit. Still see the screen, but it doesn't look like it's hanging out in midair there. And then use the little markings on the spine of the book as kind of a guide as to where you might put some controls or something. Again, the detonator is a real fun piece. If you want a blue button, you could try this, or maybe this is the knob, or like a switch or something. If you want something lit up, you could either use this one, which pulsates part of it, or you could use the blinky light. So like, tricky part is not having it stick out the back. That would be the hardest thing. So that. Pretend that's the two controls for the television. You can use other things if you want. Um, there's the lights, the actual I think it's exile lights. Yeah, this one here, it's got the little light on the post. There's a lot of the Ixion panels. Eldon stuff has a lot of that kind of like little flickering bit. Um, there's the early warning system. It's the one, the cage with the bird. The bottom and the top of it have different. The top has like the red lights, and the bottom has the blue bits. Um, Again, a lot of the different screens and stuff. If you don't want to set up a little image here, you could just use one of like the Exile wall panel or something. Want to do that, or like the tactical table. We've seen a lot of people use that for screens and stuff. Myself, I'd probably try and set up some kind of an image. We did that the last time when I think it was in one of the the I can't even think of it. The modular houses. I did one with a newscaster who was reporting the news. So it was a little guy with his tie and shirt and everything, and do something similar. Or I've seen some do like for their big screen movie theaters, they'll like put up like a spaceship scene, a rocket going through the sky or something. You can do anything, just about. Um, Keep it simple. And of course, if you're dealing with the thickness of the walls, while some of it you can get away with a lot of things being able to be hidden, there are a lot of things that you would be tempted to use that you can't because it would be poking out the back. Now, if you want to get past that, you could say, pretend like you put a little shed back here. Like, see, you can see this is sticking out. So, in order to cover that up, maybe you could just set up a little shed of some sort, like say, maybe you don't want to use the books for it. Maybe you want to use like the picnic tables or something. Set up a really quick and dirty deal here. Maybe this is where the bathroom's located, because there's really not a whole lot of room inside. I have to come out and come into the back where the little outhouse is. Maybe it's a storage shed, like a garden shed kind of thing. When I get really simple, I just go with like maybe a crate. Crate's like all wonky as the best way to do it. Probably making this more complicated than it needs to be, but something like that. And like I don't know, put another one there for like the door. Very makeshift, look, hobo-ish. Put a little handle on there. Tiny cup is probably right. Or a dynamite. Fine. There you go. Something like that. That's if you have something that's poking out that you want to kind of cover up, that's one way of doing it. That's not going to work for every instance because depending on where it is, you might not be able to set up a little building like that. But again, if you don't want to do a shed kind of thing, you could just maybe uh, make the path like this and have it like another part of it branch off, leading out to the back. So, and then have some kind of a terrace thing out here where you do your barbecuing, um, maybe a special little garden with trellises. You know, you could have done that with this instead of having this little makeshift deal here. Just going to destroy this here. All that work for naught. Now I've got a ton of picnic tables. So again, say I've got this, I want to cover it up some way. You could just get some of those trellises or make your own. That's perfectly fine too. Just hide it with some plant stuff. And if that doesn't hide it well enough, add more plant stuff. I mean, you could add roses to make it look like, not roses, but like the habaneros to make it look like a rose bush kind of thing going on. You could add more greenery, so maybe some overgrowth or whatever, covering it up. You could patch it by layering up a couple of books on top, cover it up that way, like so, like just replicating it and bringing these out just to cover it. Again, it's going to be probably a little annoying because the edges don't match up. So I think it would be better to do something like this or the building or some such. Again, you'd be looking for things uh, like the mossy overgrowth would probably work really well. The regular one too. Let's see, I think the mossy ones tend to move, got motion to them. And then the regular overgrowth, I think it's stationary. Let's use it. I'll probably have to check and see if this is showing up inside. Like we're good. You can either do it something a little big like this, and then also have it flip the other way so that it's really full. Like so. Then you've got it good and covered. And it looks purposeful because you got the trellises there to kind of help guide the ivy that's growing there. Or you could just patch it in a little bit with smaller bits just to hide those specific parts that you're wanting to hide. Let's see. Habanero. I don't know if I got any. I don't think we have any of the red ones. The red ones might be in that the vase. floating one, I think. Yeah. So the problem with that one becomes trying to hide the vase. It'd be better off if you go for the standalone habanero ones. Those, I think there's like 2 or 3 different versions that you can craft. Let's see. Yeah, the spindly, which is the single one, and then thorny one, which is the cluster. This is the one I usually use if I'm using it for, like, say, for poinsettias, for a holiday, uh, like garland kind of thing. Or I've used these same ones for the rose bushes on the Valentine plot. So these are really nice. There's also another version, I think, that has more like fire on them. And then even another one that is just a random drop. Make sure I'm telling you guys right. Upper. Yeah, there's the flamey ones. They're like glowy, kind of. Then there's the really big, got like a giant root back here. It's also a single. But these two are the ones that you can craft. And then these two are the ones that I want to say one of them you can get as a random drop and like just world thing, and the other one I'm not sure. But I find these much easier. So if you don't have architecture stuff, then just take one out and they will probably be happy to fit you out with some. And check and see if this is showing up inside. And it is. Probably covering up the trellises quite a bit. There we go. So if you're going to use the vases, then I would say the trickiest part would be hiding the vase itself. If you're wanting to make it look like it's just the flowers. But it's doable. I mean, there's ways you can get around it by, again, adding more of the greenery here and there. But I would start out with the flowers at the front. Just kind of like do it. You're going to see it here, and it might actually be sticking. Oh, we got lucky there. Okay. And then just spot them here and there. I thought you were going bye-bye, boy. Thank you. And if you want to get elaborate, you could put like a little workbench here for whoever's tending the flowers. Ah, good. I'm not that confident with the computer stuff. Usually if my husband goes to tinkering on mine, I tell him explicitly, don't mess my computer up. Because last week he was messing with the speakers or something, and I was like, don't mess it up, because I was having those echoing issues before, and I was like, you're gonna have me having it again. And I was like, don't do that. Now again, if you don't want this showing, just grab another one of these, twist it this way, and and sink it down. And that should hide it. Like a little box of overgrowth. Repeat it on the other side. I actually thought that I might be able to make some like trimmed hedges doing this, and it doesn't quite work that way because they're so lumpy dumpy. They don't work well. Well, I'm glad he's able to sort it if he managed to do it. Ugh. Okay, so there's a little bit more food for thought as far as if you decide to participate next month in this, gives you some ideas of some of the things you can do. I'm probably even going to change how this is set up, but you can see how quickly you can put something together. Now, if you wanted to do your own trellises rather than using the standard ones that come, the 2x4s are really great. Pillars are really great for that. Even some of the fencing um, on the other trellises, the ones with the gourds on them, those work really great for like canopy tops. If you lay them out just right, they work really good. Trying to think of the character names of the ones that have those. I don't know if this will pull it up or not. Like in Greenleaf. But let's see, I want to say, yes, that's a good idea, Poi. That would be a good challenge for you. You know, it's not that you're required to use books for your stuff. I just happen to go, I kind of get a little obsessive when it comes to that. If I build something out of rocks, then I'm starting to think, well, what else can I make out of the rocks that'll match or not match or contrast well with it? And the books just are a fun item. They're kind of flat, straight edged. They're really good for tables and chairs and things like that. So I thought it would be kind of fun if I just did that for myself. But if you want to do that too, that's perfectly fine too. It would be kind of nice to see what other people come up with as far as the books go. But I don't want to make that as a stipulation that you have to use books for your decorations because that might get kind of a little too confining. Because you know, I'm sure a lot of people will want to use like the Chua pillows for like some red hearts to bring in some nice Valentine colors in. Notice mine's pretty bland looking as far as color goes. It's all just yellows and browns and a little bit of blue, and that's about it. There's no reds or anything yet, so that might really pop against the rest of it if you are able to use just any kind of decorations you want. Um, and while my windows and such are decorated with windows and the extra glass, someone might just want a simple pane of glass and then make some curtains or other types of window treatments like that little uh, swatch of stuff up at the top and then have some, you know, the cloth, the folded cloth on the sides. Maybe they want to try their hand at some type of Venetian blind kind of deal. Who knows what? I don't know. Just I like the layered glass myself, but I want to leave it open. That's why I didn't include any glass in the basic layout. That way people can decide what they're going to put there. Maybe someone decides to box it in. They just add in the books and fill it all the way in. Don't have the windows. I don't know. But yeah, so this is what we're going to probably be doing off and on for the next few weeks. Just gives me some busy work to deal with while we finish out the rest of this month. Again, we do have the CBDC for this month going on. This month's theme is uh, New Year's resolutions. Basically, either use the resolution you gave yourself for real, or just pick a common one that people use, like get fit or um, read books or learn an instrument or whatever, and build something that represents that uh, resolution. So, like as an example, we did the piggy bank for people that want to save more money or save money in the new year. We also did a no smoking sign for those that want to quit the habit of smoking. So just find one or make up one that you think you can build something that is in relation to that. Like say you want to do the get fit, like get healthy. Maybe it has to do with healthier cooking. So maybe you want to make a smoothie machine with some green goo in it or something. Or maybe you want to build a gym where there's exercise equipment, or a running track that someone, or a swimming pool that someone could use to get fit. Hey Aurora, good morning. Unfortunately, you're coming in at the end because I think I'm gonna head off of here really shortly. We're just kind of going over some things. Um, but basically, just build something that represents whatever resolution you pick. Say you want to learn a new language. You could do maybe something that represents the country of the language you're wanting to learn. So maybe if you're wanting to learn French, you could do the Eiffel Tower for all I know, or maybe do a classroom with some of the letters or the words, like a sentence structure or something in that language written on the chalkboard, something like that. I'm left it really big and open for interpretation as far as what kind of things you wanted to build to represent those particular uh, resolutions, hoping that that would encourage more people to participate because it's not too confined. Um, but yeah, that's ongoing for this month. And of course, we will be having the CBDC showcase at the end of the month. It's currently slated for the 31st. Um, and as long as my condition doesn't worsen, we should be on track for that. And of course, we do have the weekly house tours. And this week is NA's turn. So we will be heading back to NA side on Wednesday, presumably, if I don't have to reschedule, to check out some more homes there. I'm slowly finding more houses to add to the list. There's some that I've known about, like Katia's houses. We've got Flowers, like her piano store, and then we've got the Daywalker stuff. We've got a Uni's Amazing Works. Um, Several others that I've seen post or tweet about their houses, and I've been jotting those down. But I also want to hit some places that I've not heard of before, but that I happen upon just randomly visiting. So I'm going to try and keep it a good mix of known places and maybe not so well known places. Same way I do with Jabot. We have a lot of builders that are known for their plots, like Aurora and Poi and Maddie and a few others. But I also like hitting those that don't, typically let folks know, hey, my plot's here, come take a look. They just kind of open it up and let you come, and if you happen across it, great. And if not, then you're lost, kind of deal. So we'll be hitting NA this week, and again, we'll be switching back between the fractions each week. We are on schedule, sort of, if everything goes well, as long as we keep up with one tour thing a week. We should be on point for our 100th House Tours episode at the first part of April. So I'm excited about that. If you guys were here with me for the 50th one, you'll know that it was a pretty big milestone even then. And just to think of how many homes we will have visited by the time we reach the 100th episode. I think at the moment, the last tally I checked, we were over 330 homes visited so far. So that's an amazing number. It's just astounding to think of all of the different themes that we've checked out, all of the custom work that went into each of them. So yeah, it's getting close. We still got a little ways to go, but I'm hoping to stay on track as best I can for that, even with the medical issues going on. So if it does get pushed out, of course, that's unfortunate, but it could happen. But I'm on track so far for, I think it's like the first week of April when we'll be hitting the 100th episode. Um, I don't remember how many houses it'll be by then because it changes from week to week how many we actually visit. Sometimes they only visit like 3 and sometimes it's 5, so it just slowly adds up. But I think the last time I checked was like 330, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's pretty crazy to think about it. That means we'll be around April. I think it was May 6th in 2015 when it started. So we'll be getting close to our 2-year streaming anniversary as well. So it's going to be a big deal. I'm already in talks with Carbine to see if we can kind of replicate what we did for the 50th. So keep that in mind. It's just I have to give them plenty of advance notice, and of course, with me not knowing how the scheduling is going to go for the next few weeks, I'm hesitant to do that too soon because I don't want to make arrangements and then find out I have to delay it even further. So we'll see. But exciting stuff. Again, we have the CBDCs every month, have the tours every week, and then random junk throughout the rest of the time. If you know of someone that's just getting back into the game or has just discovered the game and is looking for some information about housing, please, feel free to spread the word that we're here. I know my hours and stream times are a little scattier than normal lately, but hopefully they'll even, point them out to the old videos that we have. There's lots of amazing stuff from there, from the tours and everything that they could enjoy when we're not streaming. So yeah, uh, appreciate those that have been helping to spread the word by tweeting it out, voting, and um, I see a lot of people mention it in the forums when they talk about, that's why they come back. They saw my videos, and that's a nice thing for me to hear that these streams and these videos and such are having an impact and in a positive way. I'm glad it's not in a negative way, but yeah, I'll just let folks know that we're here. And of course, the resources page, even if they don't plan on watching the stream or whatever, hopefully the resources section on the Twitch channel page is helpful for those. Because again, we've been adding, slowly adding extra elements like uh, flows, sky remodel images. For those that, don't know where to look. A lot of it is in the housing subforum, but as new topics are introduced, all of those great resources are pushed into the older pages. So unless we keep a running list somewhere, those really great resources can get lost in the mix. So I just try to keep it up. So if you know of any resources like spreadsheets or decor lists or anything that I've missed, or that you think deserves a spot on the resources list, be sure to, feel free to let me know, and I'll be happy to add that. Um, we've got links to video playlists for like other people that do house tours. Some have done some uh, tutorials for like how to use KBT, the add-on that a lot of us rant and rave about. So anything like that, or if it's some kind of housing guide, or even if it's like maybe if it's a blog or something that's totally dedicated to housing. While there are some bloggers that might, do a little article here and there, I'm mostly looking for stuff that's specifically or completely about housing to kind of try and help promote those. Now, the section for streamers, other fellow streamers, typically I wanted those to be more just housing related. But there's so few of us that really concentrate on this part of the game. So, if you know of anyone like Cal Scattergood that regularly streams WildStar, now not just a regular streamer, but regularly streams WildStar specifically, um, I'd love to hear about it. I know there's a few that kind of do it sporadically, but they also play a lot of other stuff, and I don't want to promote channels that primarily focus on another game or something. So if you know of anyone that's doing consistent WildStar streaming of any sort, whether it's housing or raiding or just leveling up or whatever, let me know, and I'll be happy to add them to our little MooBot thing, so that we can kind of spread the word. Because there are people that come in wondering about that stuff, and then they're appreciative of us directing them to those that better suit the material that they're looking for. Not everybody's into the housing stuff. Um, but anyway, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. I know we didn't do a whole lot, but hopefully it still gave you some ideas. Um, and looking forward to giving you guys a chance to decorate a new little mini house next month. Looking forward to also to seeing any of the CBDC results from some of you. I haven't even been to Aurora's place yet. I think she said she had 3 of them so far. So excited to check that out at some point. Um, Again, I can't say for sure if we'll be streaming tomorrow. All I can say is if we're going to cancel, I will tweet that out to let you guys know. It may be as late as a half hour before that I mention it, but I will tweet out something. So if you want to stay on top of that and know for sure if I'm going to stream or not that day, just follow my Twitter feed or check it out and see if I've tweeted it out. But as it stands right now, I think I should be able to manage doing the streams each day. But it's been 3 times. What? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you guys talking about? I don't know what you mean. Oh, you're talking about watching the video? You want to look around in the house? There's really not much in here. I've been very hesitant to start tacking it in because, again, I don't want to rush through it. For one, I want to keep some things that I can be working on next month as well. Oh. But yeah, uh, I'm gonna do my best to pick up with the streaming again and everything. But just be aware that depending on how I feel on a given day, sometimes the mornings are worse, sometimes it's worse in the evening. It's an inconsistent kind of thing. So I'll do my best to be here every day, every weekday. But please, apologies in advance if I'm not able to. Um, But in the meantime, I wish you guys good success with whatever you're currently building, whether it's for a CBDC or not. I'm always looking forward to new things you guys come up with. And I know folks are always trying to find new techniques and new little tricks that they can do and be able to share it with others and stuff. So, yeah. Um, I've done lost my train of thought. My jaw's hurting, so I'm kind of having a hard time concentrating. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate the follows, the tweets, the retweets, the votes, the general support, the company, of course, and the well wishes as well. I know a lot of you have been expressing your wish for me to be healthy again, and I appreciate that. It's just one of those things. I'm a puny person by nature, so I'm usually always not feeling 100%. But this last week or two has been pretty rough on me. I'm still not getting full night's sleep. I think last night I woke up like 4 or 5 times for different reasons. And when I woke up this morning, I felt like zombie carrot again. It was like I couldn't get my eyes to stay open, but I couldn't fully close them either because then the dizzy would come, and it's just awful. But some days is better than others, and I hope at the end of the month, after the discussion with the specialist, we'll know a little bit more maybe of what's going to go on. I don't know if I'm going to end up having to have some kind of invasive testing or something, or if they're just going to put me through that whole vertigo junk where they make you sick for a few hours or what. But I'm nervous about that, so that's not helping. But yeah, hopefully all of that resolves as soon as it can, and we'll be back to normal. But in the meantime, I will do my best to be here. And thank you again for joining. Hope to see you again soon. And you guys have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye bye.